Master your focus. Work hard in silence and let results speak. Written and published by ReadFlow Audiobook. Point 1. The power of silent effort. In today's world, it often feels like visibility equals value. Social media rewards those who speak the loudest. Status updates, stories, and endless streams of opinion create a constant pressure to perform. But here's a truth few are willing to live by. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. In fact, real strength often thrives in silence. Working in silence is not about hiding or downplaying your ambition. It's about staying rooted in your purpose, without the need for external validation. It means choosing discipline over display, commitment over applause, focus over noise. When you're building something meaningful, whether it's your career, your mindset, your business, or your personal transformation, the early stages are fragile. They require protection. Broadcasting every step before it's fully formed can expose your progress to opinions, comparisons, and distractions that derail your momentum. Silence becomes your shield. There is power in quiet effort, the kind of effort that doesn't seek permission, the kind that is consistent behind closed doors, the kind that trains when no one is watching, studies when others are scrolling, builds when others sleep. This is where transformation begins, not in what you say, but in what you do, without needing to be seen. When you learn to work in silence, you become more connected to your internal compass. You stop looking sideways. You stop measuring your growth against someone else's timeline. You begin to value depth over appearance, consistency over hype, and progress over performance. This mindset creates freedom. You're no longer trapped by the need to impress or the fear of being overlooked. You realize that your future is shaped, not by how loudly you announce your goals, but by how quietly and relentlessly you pursue them. Let others talk. Let others perform. Your job is to show up, day after day, focused, grounded, and disciplined. Let your results make the noise, because when your work is real, when your growth is undeniable, you won't need to say a word. Point 2. Guarding your energy like it's wealth. If time is your most limited resource, energy is your most precious currency. You can't show up focused and driven if you're constantly depleted, physically, mentally, emotionally, and yet we give away our energy so casually, to distractions, to drama, to things that don't serve our purpose. Mastering your focus begins with protecting your energy. That means setting clear boundaries. It means filtering out what's urgent from what's important. And most importantly, it means becoming intentional about who and what gets access to your attention. You can't do deep, meaningful work when you're constantly switching tasks, jumping from app to app, or getting dragged into conversations that drain you. Every interruption has a cost. Every quick check chips away at your concentration. When your focus is fractured, your progress is delayed. It takes courage to say no, not just to people but to habits and mindsets that no longer align with your direction. You must train yourself to disconnect from the noise, to disconnect from the rush, and to reconnect with your priorities. This is not selfish, it's strategic. Consider this. Every successful person you admire guards their energy with discipline. They know they can't give their best to the world if they're running on empty. They plan their days, not by what's popular, but by what's essential. They don't let their calendar control them. They control their calendar. This discipline doesn't mean working non-stop. It means being present and intentional when you do work, and then recovering with equal purpose. Breaks are not weakness. They're part of the cycle of mastery. When you rest strategically, you return stronger. Start with awareness. Track where your energy goes each day. What drains you? What fuels you? Make the quiet decision to eliminate one energy waster, then another. Slowly your environment shifts. Your momentum builds. When you begin treating your energy like it matters, everything around you begins to respect that boundary too. People will adjust, circumstances will change, but more importantly, you will change. And that shift from reactive to intentional is where focused greatness begins. Point 3. Eliminate to elevate. The discipline of saying no. Clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing less, but better. One of the greatest illusions of modern life is that I can manage it all. Every commitment, every opportunity, every invitation. But the truth is, the more you take on, the more you dilute your power. If you want to master your focus, you must become a student of elimination. We often think success is about what we add to our lives. New habits, new strategies, new routines. But true growth happens just as much through subtraction. By removing the distractions, the excess, the noise. It's the art of saying no to the things that look good, so you can say yes to what's truly great. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something essential, and it adds up, slowly, quietly, but significantly. You stretch yourself too soon, lose clarity, and before long, you're busy but not productive, active but not aligned. High performers, those who move with clarity and consistency, don't just manage their time, they protect their priorities. They're not afraid to disappoint others in the short term, if it means remaining loyal to their long-term vision. They don't chase everything, they choose intentionally. This discipline isn't always glamorous. Saying no can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to pleasing others or chasing validation. But every time you protect your time and energy, you reinforce your identity as someone who values growth over approval. And the truth is, people will respect you more when you live with boundaries. When you value your focus, they begin to value it too. But it starts with you. Begin by asking yourself, what in your life right now is consuming your time, but not contributing to your growth? What habits, relationships, or routines are taking more than they give? Write them down. Get honest. And start removing what doesn't belong. Saying no is not rejection, it's redirection, away from what distracts you and toward what defines you. If you want to rise, you must lighten the load. Eliminate to elevate. Point 4. Build routines that ground you. Discipline isn't about grand gestures, it's about small decisions repeated with intention. If you want to work hard in silence and let your results speak, you need neat solid beneath your ambition. That foundation is your daily routine. A strong routine is like an anchor. It keeps you grounded when life gets chaotic. It gives your mind structure and your actions rhythm. Without it, focus becomes fragile. You drift. You procrastinate. You react to life instead of leading it. But here's what most people get wrong about routines. They think it has to be complicated or rigid. It doesn't. A powerful routine is simple, personal, and built around your core priorities. It exists to support your energy and sharpen your attention, not to trap you in a schedule. Start by designing the first hour of your day. How you begin your day sets the tone for how you live it. Are you waking up with intention, or waking up into chaos? Are you claiming the morning or letting it slip away? Even a short routine can create powerful momentum. 10 minutes of clarity can be more impactful than an hour of distraction. Maybe that means movement, journaling, reviewing goals, reading something enriching, or simply sitting in silence and planning your next steps. What matters is consistency. The repetition of these quiet actions builds trust within yourself. It tells your mind, I am in control. I direct the course of this day. The same goes for your evening routine. How you end your day determines how deeply you rest, and how ready you are to focus tomorrow. Disconnect from noise, reflect, prepare. Let your routine be a quiet act of alignment. Over time, these bookends of the day become sacred. They become your personal space, free from outside demands, grounded in purpose. And when the outside world tries to pull you in 100 directions, your routines pull you back to what matters. Because the truth is, no one rises to the level of their motivation. We all fall to the level of our systems. Build systems that serve you. Design routines that reflect the person you are becoming. Let your discipline in the small things prepare you for the big results you're working toward. Point 5. The silent power of consistency. Focus is not just about what you do, it's about how often you do it. The truth is, the people who make the biggest impact rarely move in loud, dramatic bursts. They move in silence, but with unwavering consistency. Consistency is the compound interest of self-mastery. It doesn't feel glamorous day to day. It doesn't give instant rewards. But over time it produces results so powerful they seem minimal. And yet so few stay consistent long enough to see them. Why? Because consistency is often quiet. It asks you to show up when no one's watching, to work without applause, to keep going when motivation fades. And that's hard in a world addicted to fast results and constant stimulation. But this is where discipline beats desire. Anyone can act when they feel inspired. Very few can show up when it's inconvenient. That's the difference between dabblers and masters. Masters make their work non-negotiable. Here's a truth that will keep you grounded. Progress is not about intensity. It's about identity. When you decide who you want to become, your actions begin to align with that vision. You stop chasing quick wins and start building long-term momentum. That's what consistency creates. Momentum. Even if you're not moving fast, you're always moving forward. And small steps, taken daily, take you farther than sprints, followed by collapse. Think of a mountain climber. Every step looks the same. The pace is steady. There's no cheering crowd. But eventually they reach heights most people never imagine. Why? Because they kept moving, one intentional step at a time. So ask yourself, what is one small action you can take daily that brings you closer to your goal? Don't underestimate it. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Just commit and repeat. If you work hard in silence, if you stay faithful to the process even when results are invisible, the outcome will speak louder than you ever could. Stay consistent. Let your quiet effort become your loudest statement. Point 6. Protecting your energy in a distracted world. In the age of noise, distraction is everywhere. Our attention is constantly under attack. Notifications, endless scrolling, opinion overload, comparison traps. And in the middle of it all, you're expected to build something meaningful. But here's the truth. You cannot master your focus if you do not protect your energy. Your energy, mental, emotional, and physical, is your most valuable resource. It's what fuels your thoughts, drives your actions, and sustains your long-term goals. When it's scattered, so is your life. When it's guarded, your direction becomes clear. Ask yourself, how often do you feel drained before you've even started your own work? How much of your day is stolen by things that don't matter? Conversations, digital noise, other people's opinions. How much clarity are you sacrificing just by leaving your focus unguarded? If you want to master your focus, you must become intentional about where your energy goes. Start by establishing strong boundaries. This isn't about cutting off the world. It's about creating space for what matters. That means saying no more often. Not every message deserves an immediate response. Not every invitation deserves your time. And not every problem in your life belongs to you. People who stay focused are not cold or antisocial. They're simply aligned. They know what their energy is worth, and they refuse to spend it on things that drain them without return. Next, you must master your internal environment. External distractions are powerful, but internal ones are even stronger. Worry, overthinking, self-doubt. These are the energy leaks that can quietly destroy your momentum. To combat this, build practices that ground you. Meditation, journaling, movement, solitude. These aren't luxuries, they're maintenance for your mental clarity. They help you filter your thoughts and stay anchored in what matters most. And remember, not every battle is worth fighting. You don't have to respond to every insult. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. Silence is often the most powerful answer. Redirect that emotional energy into your craft, your goals, your progress. One of the most overlooked principles of high performance is recovery. Focus is not just about intensity, it's also about renewal. A tired mind is an unfocused mind. So prioritize sleep, take real breaks, create white space in your schedule. Your clarity depends on it. When your energy is guarded, Your decisions become sharper. You no longer act out of fatigue or pressure. You act from a centered, deliberate place. That's when your work becomes deeper. That's when you start to feel powerful in your silence. Not because you're avoiding the world, but because you've finally chosen to lead your own. Discipline without protection leads to burnout. Focus without rest leads to collapse. But when you learn to protect your energy, you unlock a new level of presence. And presence is where all real work begins. So choose wisely what enters your mind, what occupies your time, and what drains your spirit. Protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. Point 7. Building mental toughness through controlled adversity. Focus isn't just about avoiding distractions. It's about building the kind of mind that thrives even when conditions are far from perfect. It's eyes to stay disciplined when everything goes your way. But what defines true mastery is your ability to stay centered when nothing goes as planned. This is where mental toughness enters. Mental toughness is not about being cold or emotionless. It's not about pretending that challenges don't affect you. It's about staying clear, committed, and composed in the face of difficulty. And the best way to build that toughness is through something most people avoid: controlled adversity. Controlled adversity means you deliberately introduce challenge into your life, not because you enjoy pain, but because you understand that growth lives on the other side of discomfort. When you train your mind to navigate hard things with intention, everything else starts to feel lighter. Here's what that might look like. Waking up early, even when your bed feels comfortable. Sitting in focused, deep work without checking your phone. Choosing a hard conversation over silent resentment. Committing to a goal even when motivation disappears. These aren't grand gestures, but when practiced consistently, they become mental calluses. Small acts that make your mind more resilient. Mental toughness isn't built in moments of comfort. It's sculpted in the hours you choose discipline over distraction, patience over impulse, and commitment over convenience. Another core aspect of mental toughness is emotional regulation. Life will test you, people will misunderstand you, plans will fall apart, but your power lies in your response. When you learn to pause before reacting, to breathe before exploding, to reflect before speaking, you protect both your energy and your integrity. Strong minds are not the loudest in the room. They are the most grounded, the most focused, the most centered. They don't need to announce their strength, because their consistency does it for them. One of the best ways to develop this calm resilience is through deliberate discomfort. For example, try cold showers, not for pain but for mental discipline. Fast from your phone for hours or days, and sit with the stillness. Commit to a physical challenge that pushes you past your comfort threshold. These actions teach your brain that you are in control. Not your urges, not your fears, not your doubt. And once you begin to train your mind in this way, something powerful happens. Focus becomes your default. You no longer chase motivation. You operate from discipline. You no longer fear setbacks. You see them as testing grounds. You no longer fold under pressure. You rise because you've trained for it. So if you truly want to master your focus, don't avoid the hard things. Walk into them on your terms, with clarity, with purpose, with the understanding that every time you do, you're building something stronger than skill. You're building a mind that can't be moved. Remember, in silence and stillness, strength is forged. Point 8. The power of consistency and the compound effect. There's a myth that success is the result of one big life-changing decision or a single breakthrough moment. But if you look closer at the habits of high performers, at the roots of mastery, at any long-term achievement, you'll find something quieter, more subtle, yet far more powerful: consistency. Consistency is what bridges the gap between intention and results. It's what turns small actions into massive change over time. It's not flashy, it's not exciting, but it is transformational. At the heart of consistency is the compound effect, the principle that small, smart choices, repeated daily, lead to extraordinary results. You may not notice the impact in the first week, or even the first month, but stay the course, and you'll witness something others miss. Quiet momentum that grows stronger each day. Think of it like planting seeds. At first, there's no visible progress. The soil looks the same. Doubt creeps in. You wonder if your efforts are even worth it. But underground, something is happening. The roots are forming. The foundation is strengthening. And when it finally breaks the surface, people will call it overnight success, not realizing how long you were quietly working. That's the nature of focused, consistent effort. Let's break this down practically. If you read 10 pages a day, that's 3,650 pages in a year, roughly 12 to 15 full books. If you write 500 words a day, you'll finish multiple manuscripts in a year. If you save just a small amount weekly, that builds into financial freedom over time. It's not about intensity, it's about reliability. But why is consistency so difficult for most people? Because it's invisible at first. Because results don't come instantly. Because our culture is addicted to speed and public validation. And because discipline, unlike motivation, requires effort, especially when no one is watching. Here's the mindset shift. You must learn to fall in love with the process, not just the reward. You must learn to show up not just when you feel like it, but especially when you don't. You must become the kind of person who can delay gratification, who can trust the slow progress, and who can be proud of effort even when the scoreboard is quiet. This isn't about perfection, it's about rhythm. You will miss a day, you will get tired, you may even feel like quitting. That's normal. What matters is that you return, again and again. One day off doesn't break consistency, but one day turning into 10, because of guilt, shame, or excuses. So create systems that help you stay on track. Set small, non-negotiable goals. Stack your habits into your routine, and celebrate progress, no matter how subtle. Most importantly, build your identity around consistency. Don't just say, I want to write a book. Say, I am someone who writes every day. Don't just say, I want to get fit. Say, I am someone who trains consistently. When your identity aligns with your habits, discipline becomes natural. And when discipline becomes natural, your focus sharpens. And when your focus sharpens, results are inevitable. Remember, success is rarely about doing more. It's about doing less, better, over a long period of time, in silence, without applause, without shortcuts. Keep watering the seeds. Keep showing up. The compound effect is always at work, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Point 9. Detaching from validation and learning to trust yourself. One of the greatest enemies of deep focus is the subtle, almost invisible addiction to external validation. We crave it. Applause, likes, praise, recognition. The sense that we're doing something right in the eyes of others. But when you build your focus on approval, you become fragile, easily swayed, constantly distracted. To master your focus and work in silence, you must learn to detach from validation, not because praise is inherently wrong, but because your growth can't depend on it. Real transformation often happens in the shadows, away from the public eye. The breakthroughs, the sacrifices, the internal rewiring, these aren't Instagrammable moments. They're quiet, lonely, and unseen, but they're essential. And here's the truth. If you always need someone to clap for you, you'll never learn how to stand on your own. If you only feel confident when others approve, you'll never build true self-trust. If your energy rises and falls with likes, comments, or compliments, you're giving away your power. Focus demands independence, not isolation, but inner anchoring. It's easy to get pulled off course when you're constantly looking outward. You start comparing your journey to others. You measure your worth by their metrics. You start doubting your pace, your choices, your value. And before you know it, your energy is fragmented, scattered across opinions that were never meant to define you. So how do you reclaim your focus from this cycle? Start by becoming deeply self-aware. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Would I still do it if no one noticed? Am I creating, working, showing up because it aligns with my purpose, or because I want applause? If your answer is rooted in alignment, you've found something powerful: intrinsic motivation. This kind of motivation lasts. It outlives rejection. It withstands silence. It doesn't crumble when no one watches. Next, Build internal validation. Celebrate yourself, quietly, intentionally, after a good day of work. Track your progress not in followers or income, but in growth, clarity, and character. Be proud of your consistency, your honesty, your persistence. This isn't arrogance. It's self-respect. It's knowing that your value isn't something others hand you. It's something you live through your daily choices. Also, practice doing great work in private. Write without sharing. Train without posting. Reflect without broadcasting. Not forever, but enough to detox from the need for attention. Enough to remember what it feels like to do something purely because it matters to you. When you do this, your focus sharpens. Your energy stays clean. You no longer work to impress, you work to improve. You stop chasing likes and start chasing mastery. Finally, realize this: silence is not absence. It's space. Space to build. Space to grow. Space to become dangerous in your discipline, while the world remains unaware, until your results speak for themselves. When you detach from validation, you free your mind. And when your mind is free, your focus becomes unstoppable. Point 10. The discipline of showing up, even when no one's watching. Mastery isn't a product of bursts of brilliance. It's a result of the boring, repetitive, quiet discipline of showing day after day, even when motivation is gone, even when progress feels invisible, even when you feel like no one cares. This is the discipline that separates those who talk from those who transform. We often romanticize success. We picture the end result, the lifestyle, the recognition, the impact. But very few are willing to commit to the process, especially when it's hard, dull, or unnoticed. The truth is this: there are no perfect conditions. There is no ideal timing. There are only two types of people: those who wait for permission and those who start anyway. To truly master your focus, you must train yourself to show up consistently, regardless of your emotional state. You don't need to feel inspired to act. You don't need external motivation to begin. What you need is a deep, unwavering commitment to the future you're building, one silent day at a time. Every time you choose to show up, especially when it's hard, you strengthen your identity. You reinforce the belief that you are the kind of person who follows through. And this belief is the cornerstone of focus. Let's explore the pillars of this quiet discipline. 1. Create a non-negotiable rhythm. Build structure into your days, not rigid routines, but reliable anchors, moments that ground your work. Maybe it's 6 a.m. deep focus work. Maybe it's 10 tens of silent planning before your day begins. Maybe it's 2 hours each evening with your phone off. Make this time sacred. Treat it like a promise to yourself, because that's exactly what it is. Detach from results in the short term. In the early stages, the world won't reward your efforts. Your podcast may get 10 listeners. Your writing may go unread. Your ideas may be ignored. Good. Let it be quiet. Let it test your patience. This is where most people quit, because they expect validation instead of understanding the long game. The truth: success is often a lagging indicator. It shows up after the consistency, after the hard days, after the silence. Keep going. Anchor yourself to purpose, not mood. Your focus is fragile if it depends on how you feel. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll feel uninspired. But purpose is stronger than mood. Ask yourself daily, who am I becoming by doing this work? That's your answer. That's your fuel. Respect the invisible work. There are days you'll write pages and delete them. Days you'll train with no visible improvement. Days you'll feel like nothing you do is making a difference. But growth is often underground before it becomes visible. Roots strengthen before trees bloom. Muscles tear before they grow. Trust the invisible. Respect the effort you can't yet measure. 5. Let silence be your sanctuary. Don't fear quiet seasons. They are sacred. They are where identity is forged, where vision is refined, where resilience is tested and built. Learn to love working with no spotlight. Create with no audience. Practice with no stage. Because when your foundation is built in silence, your results, when they arrive, speak louder than any promotion ever could. One final thought. If you've made it this far, it means you're serious about building a life that honors focus, self-respect, and mastery. It means you're willing to walk the quiet path, the one where work replaces noise, depth replaces distraction, and consistency replaces applause. Let the world chase validation. Let others wait for permission. You focus, build, execute, rise. And as you do, remember this simple truth. You don't need to announce your greatness. You just need to do the work. Let results speak the language of your discipline. If this audiobook empowered you, please like, subscribe, and share for more powerful content from ReadFlow Audiobook. Your support helps fuel more focused, life-changing content, delivered in silence, built with purpose.